Good evening. This is the May 6th, 2026 Seminole County Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This board is a 7-member board appointed by the Board of County Commissioners. A quorum has been established to hold tonight's meeting. Public hearing items acted upon by this board are referred to the Board of County Commissioners for further consideration. Board members present tonight are myself, Carissa Lawhon, Commissioner Tim Smith, Commissioner Dan Lopez, Commissioner Lourdes Aguirre, Commissioner Mike Lorenz, and Vice Chair Brandy Iapolo. Staff present tonight are Dagmarie Segarra, Deputy Development Services Director, Mike Rhodes, Interim Development Services Director, Kate Latour, County Attorney, Jim Potter, Development Review Engineering Manager, Joy Giles, Planning and Development Manager, Annie Siloway, Principal Planner, Caitlin Apgar, Senior Planner, and Tammy Brushwood, our Board Clerk. Tonight's meeting will go as follows. Staff will introduce each item. The applicant will present their item. Audience members wishing to speak will then be heard. Audience participation requires that each speaker complete a comment card and give it to the clerk. Comment cards are located out in the lobby. Please check the box if you'd like to make oral comments. Written comments are also welcome. Speakers should restrict their comments to information directly related to the item being heard. When called, speakers should approach the microphone, clearly stating their name and address for the record. The board may ask questions of the speaker. After all speakers have been heard, public comment will be closed. The applicant will then be given a chance for a rebuttal. Any items shown, such as videos, presentations, pictures, or maps, must be left with the clerk for the public record. Items shown from electronic devices should be emailed to the clerk. A motion will be made and then seconded. Board discussion may occur and will conclude with a vote. I will request a roll call vote for any split votes. We'll start the meeting with the acceptance and approval of the proof of publication. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion passes. Next, we'll go to approval of the minutes. Does any member of the board have any changes, or do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the minutes have been approved. We'll move now to our first public hearing item, which will be the Land Development Code amendments that were continued from the April 1st, 2026 meeting. Dagmarie Segarra presenting.
Good afternoon, board members, chairman. My name is Dagmarie Segarra, Deputy Director for Development Services. As you recall, this item was postponed from the April 1st meeting to this meeting this afternoon. Nothing has really changed from the initial proposed presentation that was done on April 1st. So as you know, some of you were briefed on this item prior to this meeting. Staff is ready to go through the presentation one more time. Or if you want to just proceed with questions or to the action, staff will be happy to proceed as the board pleasure.
Would anybody like to see the presentation again? Does everybody feel comfortable? Excellent. Okay, very good then. We're comfortable
All
proceeding.
right. One thing to note, there was a proposed language to be stricken to the R3 designation in regards to density. Staff is considering to keep that language in the meantime in the Land Development Code prior to the BCC meeting. So that means that density language that is in the R3 section of the Land Development Code will remain as it is. And I got the wrong control. Good. So we're going to move forward straight to the staff recommendation. Staff requests that the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend the Board of County Commissioners adopt the proposed ordinance amending the Seminole County Land Development Code per the following motion. Based on staff findings, the Planning and Zoning Commission finds the request meets the goals and policies of the Seminole County Comprehensive Plan and moves to recommend the Board of County Commissioners adopt the proposed ordinance amending the Seminole County Land Development Code as presented. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions of staff? Seeing none, is there any member of the audience who did not get a chance to speak at the last meeting that would like to be heard in favor or in opposition of this item? No? Okay, we did receive some written comments from Dave Axel that I'd like to ensure are on the record. Mr. Axel brings up the preclusion of gating in the missing middle and alternative design standard sections. He brings up a concern that there are certain times that it's impractical or even impossible to get connectivity, and so gating shouldn't be prohibited. There might be times that it's possible or necessary even. What are staff's feelings about that, and why are we being so strictly prohibiting gating in those two sections?
As you know, the missing middle zoning designation is to incentivize and to provide that missing middle type topology that we are missing in the county. And one of the things that we also struggle is because we are in an infill area, so a lot of the areas that we have in the county are infill areas. So some of them are already developed and the connectivity is already feasible there. But the main reason for why staff is recommending that not to be gated these communities is because it's allowing for that flexibility of housing type and accessibility through the community if they can connect to existing subdivisions. The Land Development Code already has a provision that would allow the Development Services Director to make a determination in cases where there is wetlands, there is lack of connectivity, or it's not feasible to have to make that determination of waiving that requirement of a gated community. We don't believe it's not a good planning practice. We understand that there is situations and circumstances where gated communities are more appropriate, but we believe for this specific type, it's not encouraging the purpose and intent of the zoning.
So are you suggesting then that the example that he brought to staff's attention at the northeast corner of Celery Avenue and Cameron, that has wetlands on one side and a gated subdivision on another? Are you saying that in that case, staff would be able to make a determination that a gated community could be put there?
Case by case.
Okay, why don't we go ahead and have it in the Land Development Code that it'll be something decided on a case by case?
Because, like I said, it's not good planning practice, and it is not conducive to what the intent of the zoning.
I think he makes some good points, so I just want to make sure that those are on the record. If there's no other comment, we'll close public comment, and other board questions, discussion, motion from anyone?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I will make a motion to recommend that the Board of County Commissioners consider the ordinance amending Chapter 2, definitions, Chapter 5, administration, Chapter 20, development orders, approvals and denials of application for development approvals, Chapter 30, zoning regulations, Chapter 35, subdivision regulations, Chapter 70, dredge and filling, and Chapter 90, uniform building numbering systems of the Seminole County Land Development Code.
I'll second.
Okay, very good. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, the motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Moving on to item number 2, Slavia Station PD rezone. Caitlin Apgar.
Good evening. Caitlin Abgar, Planning and Development Services for the record. The applicant is requesting the approval for a rezone from PD Plan Development to PD Plan Development for a proposed coffee shop and renovation of a historical building. The subject property had previously secured approval of PD zoning entitlements and a planned development future land use approved on August 14, 2007. In accordance with Seminole County Land Development Code, the required final development plan was not submitted within 5 years, and substantial development had not occurred in accordance with that within 8 years after approval. As a result, the PD entitlements have since expired. Then this necessitated the rezone. There was no maximum floor area ratio established per the previously approved PD. However, the applicant is proposing a maximum FAR of 0.24. The proposed development as depicted in the master development plan has a proposed FAR of 0.10. The previous PD entitlements included permitted uses of OP office and CN neighborhood commercial zoning districts. Additional previously approved uses included banks, civic assembly, daycares, and restaurants. The current request includes less extensive permitted uses, consisting of permitted uses in the CN neighborhood commercial zoning district, office, and civic assembly as an accessory, limited to 16 seats. The 1,370 square foot building existing on the property is considered to be historical in nature. The structure was utilized as a filling station and general store for the early Slavia community around 1929. The applicant proposes to utilize the existing structure as a coffee shop, as well as construct a pavilion, bathroom facilities, and an additional office building in the rear. This development is within Seminole County's potable water service area and sanitary sewer area and is required to connect to public utilities. The developer will be required to build a private pump station to connect to the county's force main system. The property will access onto Red Bug Road, a local road. The developer is required to build a 5-foot wide sidewalk along the property's frontage on Red Bug Road. Landscape buffers required include a 10-foot wide buffer along the northern property line and a 15-foot wide buffer with a 3-foot hedge enhancement along the east, south, and west property lines. Specific buffer components will be established at final development plan. 25% common usable open space will be provided on the subject property as well. The proposed PD zoning designation and the associated master development plan have been evaluated for compatibility with the Seminole County Land Development Code. The specific criteria are projected on the slide above. The existing PD future land use is consistent with the proposed PD zoning. The proposed master development plan and development order appropriately address compatibility with the surrounding development pattern. The proposed development is providing an innovative concept that allows for the preservation of a historical building while serving the greater residential community through the provision of neighborhood-compatible commercial uses. The cultural preservation of the historic building in the Slavia community is a nod to the existing roots of the community and works to serve as an amenity to conserve a piece of heritage while developing a new expression of the site. The proposed development is expected to assist in reducing vehicle miles traveled per household. The project is located across the street from the Cross Seminole Trail and is providing a sidewalk network and bicycle parking to bolster pedestrian accessibility to the site, thus incentivizing pedestrian over vehicle conveyance. The applicant conducted a community meeting on February 10th, 2026. Details of the community meeting have been included in your agenda package. Staff requests the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend to the Board of County Commissioners adoption of the ordinance enacting a rezone from PD Plan Development to PD Plan Development per the following motion. Based on staff's finding and the testimony and evidence received at the hearing, the Planning and Zoning Commission finds the request meets the identified portions of the Seminole County Land Development Code and recommends the board adopt the ordinance enacting a rezone from PD Plan Development to PD Plan Development for a proposed coffee shop and renovation of a historical building on approximately 1.45 acres located on the east side of State Road 426, south of Red Bug Road. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Are there any questions of staff?
Yes, I have a question. The 3,700 square foot building that's going to just sit there and nothing's going to be done to it, what is the purpose of that?
It's labeled as office on the master development plan. It may be more beneficial to let the applicant speak on behalf of what they propose the use to be.
Okay, that would be great.
Any other questions of staff? Is the applicant present?
My name is John Frith, Frith and Associates. I'm a civil engineer on the project. We also have the architect here, and Jan and John are the owners, are also here. The questions, one is the office building is a future. Right now, it's not going to be addressed. We're going to renovate the existing gas station into a coffee shop, add another building that has restrooms and a pavilion. That's the plan with associated parking. And the office building is in the future, is right now.
The outside pavilion, what about the noise? Is that going to create noise if there's functions there?
It'll be like weekend functions, I guess. There's going to be a seating area, and it'll be like an art show that's compatible with the coffee shop. I don't anticipate like a loud band. It'd be acoustical stuff, if anything. I don't believe that there's going to be a lot of noise associated with that.
Okay.
Any other questions of the applicant, or would you like to make a presentation? No? Okay. We'll move on to public comment then, but I'll have you stand by in case there's any rebuttal. I don't have any comment cards on this item. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak in favor or in opposition to this item? Seeing none, we'll close public comment.
If I may, I just wanted to address the noise concerns. There is a condition in the DO that did state the outdoor amplification of sound is prohibited without approval of a special event permit, so it will have to be vetted and approved by the staff level again.
Thank you.
Okay, board discussion? Motion?
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion, and I would recommend that the Board of County Commissioners adopt the ordinance enacting a rezone from PD plan development to PD plan development for a proposed coffee shop and renovation of a historical building on approximately 1.45 acres located on the east side of State Road 426 south of Red Bug Road.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, it's recommended for approval. We'll move on to item number 3, Henderson Hill rezone. Annie Silloway.
Good evening. Annie Silloway with Development Services. The applicant is requesting a rezone of the subject property from A1 Agriculture to C1 Retail Commercial. The rezone to C1 will allow development in accordance with the C1 zoning district, which permits uses including but not limited to banks, convenience stores, and restaurants. The subject property has an existing future land use of commercial, which allows a maximum floor area ratio of 0.35. The intent of the commercial land use designation is to provide appropriate locations to identify locations for variety of commercial uses, including neighborhood and community shopping centers, convenience stores, and retail sales. This land use should be located at intersections along major roadways as infill development where this use is established. The applicant proposes to develop the property with 3 restaurants, each with a drive-through lane, and does not intend to subdivide the property into separate parcels. The applicant proposes access via Henderson Lane, which is classified as a local road, with a cross-access connection extending west through the existing commercial plaza. A full traffic study and cross-access easement agreement will be required at the time of site plan approval. The subject property is within the State Road 46 Gateway Corridor and will require the applicant to maintain a minimum landscape buffer of 25 feet and a 50-foot building setback. The request is consistent with the Seminole County Land Development Code and the surrounding area. The C1 zoning district is intended to permit and encourage a full range of essential commercial uses, while at the same time protecting neighboring residential properties from any possible adverse effects of commercial activity. The applicant will be providing the required open space and adequate landscape buffers to be consistent with the Land Development Code in order to provide adequate buffering for the residential district to the north. And that will be demonstrated at the time of site plan approval. The proposed C1 zoning classification is consistent with the established development pattern along State Road 46 that consists and aligns with the intent and allowable intensity of the commercial future land use category by supporting comparable commercial activities and is compatible with the zoning designation of the properties located to the west of the subject site and consistent with the commercial future land use designation. The applicant conducted a community meeting on February 26, 2026. Staff wanted to state on the record that an opposition email was received by this afternoon from a resident at 5471 Glen Oak Place, which has been provided to the P&Z commissioners before the meeting. Staff requests the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend the Board of County Commissioners adoption of the ordinance enacting a rezone from A1 Agriculture to C1 Retail Commercial as per the following motion. Based on staff's findings and testimony and evidence received at the hearing, the Planning and Zoning Commission finds the request is consistent with the comprehensive plan and meets the applicable portions of the Land Development Code and recommends the Board of County Commissioners adopt the ordinance enacting a rezone from A1 Agriculture to C1 Retail Commercial on approximately 4.32 acres located on the northwest corner of West State Road 46 and Henderson Lane. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Annie.
Thank you.
Are there questions of staff? No? Is the applicant present?
Good evening, Bob Ziegenfuss, Z Development Services, 1201 East Robinson Street in Orlando, Florida, 32801. I am here representing the developer that's proposing this development on the property and also the engineer for the project. So one of the things to note, obviously, is that the future land use map does call this out to be commercial. We are adjacent to an existing C1 use, so it is for sure compatible with the area. And I know that, first of all, thanks very much to Annie and her presentation. It leaves me not with much else to do. She's given a very good presentation, but I did hear about the one commentary that was received today, and it was relative to the proximity of, I think it was their pool to the back property line, if I'm not mistaken. So a couple of things I would like to note is that there is an existing 6-foot block concrete wall that's back there that's adjacent to all those residential properties, and we are providing a 30-foot landscape buffer and leaving the natural vegetation that is in that buffer today, and then adding to it probably right along our curb line as you come into our development away from that natural landscape buffer. We'll be planting some more up along there, but obviously with that wide buffer and that concrete wall, which the developer is also, as part of the project, committed to repair some of that wall that's in disrepair as well. It's one of the things that was brought up at the community meeting, which I was actually there presenting at that meeting as well. So we are trying to address some of those concerns of the neighbors with that wall and the cleanup of that area back there, because obviously since it's been left wooded, it can get dirty at times and a lot of trash being collected back there and such. So obviously there's a commitment to clean up the property at the same time, and overall the community meeting was very positive. They were happy to see that a 2-story structure that looked into their backyards wasn't being built there, and that we were keeping that buffer away from them. So with that being said, I'm here to answer any questions you might have of us here this evening.
Thank you. Are there questions of the applicant?
I had one, was there one point of entry and exit or two?
There are
We have one
two.
back
So
there.
what we're doing is we're utilizing, as we all know, state roads, DOT likes to limit access. Most jurisdictions like to limit access these days. So we are going to utilize an existing access point to the neighboring development that I mentioned is at C1 to the west of us. So that'll be our access off of 46, and then we have the access off of Henderson as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you. Are there any members of the audience who'd like to speak in favor or in opposition to this item? We did have one comment card in support. I think she, who didn't wish to speak, I think she had a question for staff with regard to whether or not a 10-foot buffer would be in writing in the development order. Is that, I don't have it in front of me anymore, but that's what I think I remember.
Yeah, no worries. I can answer that question. So the rezoning is a straight zoning. There's no development order attached to a straight zoning. So the applicant will be held to the land development standards for the landscape buffers.
So the answer then is no. Any
So-
additional commitments he's made are not in writing.
They're not within a development order, and they will be determined at site plan. Yes.
All right, thank you. Okay, is there anyone else? No? Okay, very good. Then in that case, we'll close public comment. Did the applicant want to rebut any of that was just said? It looked like you were coming up again.
If it is your desire to have that attached to this, I can tell you that the developer is committed to it. We're moving forward with plans right now to show a 30-foot landscape buffer between the back of a rear access road that we have and that rear property line. I just looked at the plan. It's on our current plan that we're working on to submit for permits once we get through the public hearing process. So they are willing to commit to that if it's something you want to add as a stipulation or a condition of approval.
Very good, thank you. Board discussion or a motion?
I'll make the motion. Why not? I would recommend that the Board of County Commissioners adopt the ordinance enacting a rezone from A1 agriculture to C1 retail commercial on approximately 4.32 acres located on the northwest corner of West State Road 46 and Henderson Lane.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. That will close our public hearing items for tonight. We can move on to a director's report. Dagmar, do you have anything for the board tonight?
Yeah, just want to remind or tell the board that tomorrow is going to be our Citizens Academy Development Services Day. We're going to be showcasing our department from 6 to 8 p.m. at all families, and it's an activity catered to the families, and it's going to be held here on the first floor. So you're all invited.
Thank you. Thank you. Does the board have anything else to discuss?
No, I just want to make a comment. I want to thank staff for the extra time that was spent on, just reviewing the land development code. It really helped in providing a lot of clarity, so thank you.
Absolutely. Very good. All right. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.